I still remember the night that changed everything. I was sitting alone in my tiny apartment staring at my bank account balance on my phone. 32. 45. That was all I had left. Rent was due in 3 days, and I had no idea how I was going to pay it. I had worked so hard, long hours, multiple jobs, but no matter what I did, I was always one step away from financial disaster. I felt trapped. Why was I still struggling? Why did life feel like a never-ending battle just to survive? I buried my face in my hands, overwhelmed by frustration and exhaustion. That was the moment I asked myself the hardest question of my life. Is it really just about working harder, or is there something deeper keeping me poor? I didn't know it then, but that single question was about to change my life forever, from poverty to wealth. The moment I broke free. 1. Poverty is more than just a lack of money. I was born into a poor family. My mother used to say, "We are destined to be poor." My father was more practical. He told me, "Making money is hard, and life is just one long struggle." Growing up, I was taught one fundamental belief: poverty was inevitable. The best we could do was work hard enough to survive. I studied diligently, worked tirelessly, and tried everything to escape my circumstances. But no matter how hard I worked, poverty felt like an invisible net, trapping me. Every time my salary increased, my expenses followed. Whenever I considered starting a business, I told myself I didn't have enough capital, connections, or intelligence. It felt as if life had already decided my fate, and I was powerless to change it. Then, one day, I met someone who said a single sentence that shattered my entire belief system. 2. The words that shook my soul. One afternoon, I was browsing through old books at a street stall when an older man standing nearby casually asked me, "Why do you think you are poor?" I was caught off guard and replied, "Because I don't have money." He smiled, shook his head, and said, "No, you're not poor because you don't have money. You're poor because you believe you're poor." I had no response, so he continued, "You think wealth is just about money?" No. True wealth is a way of thinking. Real poverty isn't about having an empty wallet. It's about having a mind full of limitations. You believe you need money to start a business. You believe you can't succeed without connections. You believe poverty is your fate. But the truth is, real wealth is about creating value, not waiting for resources. He flipped open the book in my hand and pointed to a line of text. The first step to wealth is questioning the nature of poverty. 3. The shackles of poverty are in the mind, not reality. His words struck me like lightning. I had never seriously questioned why I was poor. Was it truly because of external circumstances, or was it the invisible prison I had built inside my own mind? I started observing successful people and noticed something remarkable. They never said, "I can't do it." Instead, they asked, "How can I make this work?" They didn't wait for opportunities. They created them. They didn't fear failure. They treated it as a stepping stone to success. They didn't complain about life being unfair. They focused on making themselves irreplaceable. Compared to them, my old way of thinking was full of limiting beliefs. Wait, fear, impossible. Those words had shaped my reality, trapping me in a cycle of poverty. 4. The turning point, letting go of my poor identity. From that moment on, I decided to approach life in a completely different way. I no longer saw poverty as an unchangeable reality, but as a false belief that I needed to correct. I stopped fearing failure. Even without capital, I started a small side business, reselling secondhand books. I focused on creating value instead of waiting for opportunities. At work, I stopped just following orders and began proposing solutions, making myself indispensable. I stopped waiting for perfect conditions. No connections. I built relationships. No experience. I learned as I went. Most importantly, I stopped telling myself, "I am poor." Instead, I told myself, "I am becoming wealthy." 1 year later, my income tripled. 3 years later, my business was thriving. I used to think wealth was something you wait for, waiting for the right opportunity, the right amount of capital, the right mentor. But I realized that wealth comes naturally once you break free from your own limiting beliefs. Conclusion: poverty is a mindset. Looking back, I now understand that my poverty was never just about money. It was about the beliefs I had accepted as truth, that money was required to make money, that failure was something to avoid, and that success was out of my reach. But that man at the bookstall showed me the truth. You're not poor because you don't have money. You're poor because you believe you're poor. The moment you let go of that belief, the world around you begins to change.